Hello, everybody. Okay, I'm glad we're active. Hello. Hope everybody's having a fabulous day. My name is Natalie Joy Cannell, and I'm the Client Support and Administration Manager here with Enriched Academy. And I have the pleasure of presenting this Envelope Savings Challenge webinar to you, along with a few tips and tricks on just generally how to save and how to feel more empowered to manage your finances. I am here today with, I believe he is here today, Martin. Uh, are you here with us this afternoon? Microphones. Martin's microphone and camera are disabled. Delightful. I will have Jessica adjust that for us. Give me 1 second.
And it is fixed already.
Okay. Whoa, geez, that was fast. All I had to do was look away and you came back. Hi, how are you?
Good, good, good. Hello, everyone.
Hi. So I noticed that we have the chat that is functioning, and we also have a Q&A box. So if you have questions, best place to put them is in the Q&A. Chat, if you wish to use it, feel free, but what I'll be keeping my eye on most is a Q&A box during our presentation. And of course, we'll have a Q&A session at the end. So Martin and I will be keeping an eye out on those. If you have any questions about Enriched Academy or SISIP itself, this is a great place and time to ask. So it'll be either in the chat or in the Q&A section. Martin, any comments before we kick off, before we get right into it?
Nope, no comment. Looking forward to this. So
Me
lots of
too.
great information. So
Me too. Love it. Actually, I mean, and here's the thing. Like I said, I am, well, and actually this ties in very well with the next piece I wanted to talk about, which is what you see right in front of you, and it is our disclaimer. Now, I am not a financial advisor. I am an educator. I've been in education my whole life. I've been a teacher of theater. I've been a teacher, well, professor of theater. I've worked in medical education, and now I work in financial education. And I think the reason why I have um, been in so many different types of education fields is just because I care a lot about giving people the tools they need to feel empowered to make decisions that are really good for themselves and for their families. And honestly, I'm just happy to work in any field that allows me to be able to do that. But that said, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an accountant. So anything that I do present to you today, we always recommend that you contact, who you might have as a financial advisor in your own surroundings already. Or if you have any questions, SISIP Financial is always there to be able to support you with this. We love having this partnership with them because the financial health and security for every member of the CAF community is their goal. That's what they're attempting to do and what they are doing on a daily basis. And we have very similar missions, right? Enriched Academy is really trying to make financial freedom and financial literacy accessible to everyone. And SISIP is always working really hard to make sure that CAF members in particular have the tools that they need due to your very specific, military lives and circumstances. So you can go to SISIP for insurance needs, you can go to them for financial planning, saving, counseling, like pretty much anything financial under the sun. SISIP will have a tool or a person that you can work with directly to get the answers that you need. So highly recommend you check SISIP out. There will be a QR code and a link at the end so that you can know more about SISIP. And if you also want access to the Enriched Academy educational portal, which is what we are offering to all CAF members through SISIP, through this partnership, what we really want to try to do is help lower whatever stress that you may have. And we already understand, I mean, actually, I can't forgive that. Scratch that. I could never understand properly the level of stress and challenge that some of you have related to the type of work that you are doing. The commitment that you have towards your country and towards your communities is exceptional. But of course, that does lead to extra levels of stress. And we noticed based on our research, like based on pretty much everybody's research right now, quite frankly, that a lot of Canadians find financial discussions, financial issues very stressful. It affects how well you can work, it affects your relationships. And so, if we can give you the tools to lower at least that stress, even just by a little bit, we're really happy about that. We're really happy if we can do this for you. And there are SISIP, planners and counselors all over the country. Easy, you'll be able to access them. So I really hope that you use that tool. But today, what I am sharing with you are different tips on how to create a savings mindset. And I'm going to share with you our savings challenge. You could win prizes. And I mean, The big win is that you will save money and you will be building really healthy habits. So that's really what you're winning. But let's talk about a couple of myths that we hear about saving in general, right? It's too late for me. Constantly hearing that. Now, fair, time is a tool that really helps financial growth. And we recognize this, right? So the earlier you can start learning about finances, the better. The earlier you're making wise financial decisions, the better it can be for your financial health. But that doesn't mean that you can't make these choices now, no matter where you are in your life. I mean, look at like I was going to say, these people at their advanced age. That is like, I'm close to this advanced age, so maybe I should not say that. But essentially, the point is, age is not necessarily a barrier to be able to make decisions that are going to have a lasting impact, right? And this saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, the second best time is now, right? And ultimately, here's the trick though, there are really two paths you can take, right? It's that sense of, if you continue, you know, I don't want to say with your head in the sand, but sometimes it's easier, or it feels easier, to not actually take those steps to really take a look at where you are and where you're going financially, because it's scary and math can be challenging. And I don't want to have to make an Excel spreadsheet, and I don't want to look at the amount of debt I have. And so many of you have your own individual concerns, right? Some of you may not be in debt, but are concerned about saving for retirement. Some of you may just have bought a new house and had a new baby. Amazing. But that may be bringing you some debt. Still essentially positive debt, because these are, wonderful things in your life, but it's still going to affect you and stress you out. No matter where you are on the financial spectrum, it is still very important for you to really take some time to accept where you are, understand where you are, and then choose to make a choice to take the steps towards having a more relaxed, stress free approach to your finances, by being more aware of exactly where you are with regards to your finances. And this saying here is delightful. You can't improve what you don't measure. Okay. And this is something that's very important at us with the Enriched Academy. We also kind of think of it as like a GPS, if you think about it, right? Because if you're, getting in the car and going on a trip, you pull out your phone or you press some buttons on your dashboard, and you have to say where you started and plug in where you want to go before the tool will generate an option or two or three of a path for you to take. You need to know where you're starting and where you want to go. For a lot of people, the where you want to go is like, oh, I know what I would like. I would like to be a millionaire. I would like to own a cottage. I would like to have a rental property. I would like to save up for a weekend holiday. I would like, whatever it is you want to do, that's awesome. But if you don't know what you're starting with, and you don't start recognizing the small changes you can make that can help you reach that long-term goal, then you may never get there, right? One of the best tools that I could recommend to you is called a net worth tracker. Now, a net worth tracker naturally causes your net worth to grow, right? And then your net worth is essentially your assets minus your liabilities. And I'll go into more detail on that when I show you the tool in a second. But it just naturally causes things to grow, because when you are taking time and having better awareness of something, it just unconsciously, subconsciously, or also consciously affects the choices you make moving forward, right? So, for example, if you started a pattern, a habit of walking, outside for 5 minutes every day at lunchtime, and then one day you got busy and you didn't do it, but then later on in the afternoon, you're like, gosh, like something doesn't feel, like something feels funny. Like, did I miss something? I'm a little, I don't know, I'm antsy. I feel like that's that awareness that you've built up through those positive habits, through those positive changes, that allows you to then go, oh, okay, oh yeah, I need to do this for myself. This is a good choice for me. I'm going to go take care of this now, right? So building this awareness naturally causes your net worth to grow, because every financial decision you make is just steeped in more knowledge and more awareness of your long-term plans. I promise you, this is also a very addictive, but in a positive way, tool that you can use. And it is a very productive tool. And also, it is easy. And when I say easy, not everybody loves spreadsheets, right? Like I am in the minority. I like them a lot, but also I love the fact that Enriched Academy has created these spreadsheets already. So I don't have to do all the formulas, do all the math to figure that stuff out. We just have tools that you can download from the Enriched Academy portal. That in this particular case, the net worth tracker is in Excel, in Google Sheets, and it is also embedded in the website itself. Now, all depending on which tool you want to use, any of those methods, we promise you that your privacy is extremely important to us. And we don't have access to your financial information. We don't share it. We don't sell it. And that embedded tool, like we don't, it's your information. We don't access it, right? If you're particularly concerned, I do always recommend downloading a tool and saving it on your own personal computer. That keeps it extra safe. But with regards to how we construct our website, we work with schools across the country. We work with all kinds of organizations across the country. We have very strict rules with regards to privacy. And so you can rest assured that your financial information that you plug in there is not going to get out, due to something that, due to us looking into it. What I'm going to do now is share with you the actual not financial freedom, net worth tracker. Let me pop in here to see where I can find it. There it is. Oh, I'm noticing there's a couple of quick questions. So yes. Oh, is it being recorded? What's interesting about that is all of our webinars are recorded. So you will always be able to get access afterwards, which is why I also recommend if you can't attend a webinar, but you're interested in the information, always register because you'll get a link to the recording afterwards. And you, if you are a member of the CAF, if you, through SISIP, you have access to the Enriched Academy portal and our tools for free. There is no cost associated to it. So yeah, it's free to use. If you don't already have access to it, I'll be showing you a link at the end of the presentation how you can access. All righty. So here is our net worth tracker. Now, don't be scared. Don't be intimidated. I know it's lots of lines and there's lots of things here, but I promise you it's going to be okay. Now, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to write your name because it's satisfying. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to put in the date. So I'm going to put in today's date. Now, the next thing you're going to do is look at the columns here on the left, which are your total assets. So this is where your assets, the accounts that you have where you have money, they're belongings, they're yours, and that are ideally, because of interest, gaining passive income, right? So passive income is passive because you're not actively physically working to get that money back, right? The interest is what's generating income for you. It's kind of like getting like money while you sleep, essentially, right? You'll notice here there are little plus signs that allows you to add rows if you need to. And if you hover over the red little triangles there, which you may not be able to see from your perspective, but trust me, they're there. It shows you a little bit of information on what to put into these individual lines. So if you're not sure how to create this or populate this tool, we're giving you some guidance here. Let's just say I'm going to put in a checking account and my current balance is 500 and my annual interest, well, I'm going to leave that at 0 because, well, most checking accounts do not have interest. Checking accounts are great for, for spending and for paying bills and whatnot, but not ideal for saving. So I'll leave that there for now. Now, the investment account. So let's say here I have an RRSP. Now, if you have a TFSA, if you have any other types of investments, bonds, etc., this is where you would put it. So let's say my market value right now is 5,000, let's say, and I'll put an interest rate at 4%. 4% is generally considered a relatively, risk-free level of investment interest rate, in the sense that, like, if you're investing in stocks and whatnot through the stock market, it can always vary. It goes up and down, right? That's why the long term is your best friend, because you can weather those up and downs. But like 4%, let's just say we'll put that there. You can find this information on your statements of what the annual interest rate is, like, at that point. But if you have issues looking for that information on your statements, SISIP can be a great resource to meet up with them and go, here are all these documents. I don't know how to read them. And they can definitely help you sort all that out. So we'll have that real estate. So real estate holdings, here's where you would put the market value. So if you were to sell your home right now, how much would you sell it for? So I'm going to put $500,000 there. Um, this is not like your mortgage. This is how much your home is worth if you were to sell it. Annual interest rate. So this is an interesting one because each town, each neighborhood, each province has different increases and decrease in real estate value. I'm just going to throw 4% in here for now, but a quick Google search or talking to a local real estate agent will give you an approximate idea of how much your property may increase on an annual basis based on, your community. And right here, I'm going to put in other assets, I'm going to put my car because a car is an asset. Let's say it's worth $5,000 right now, but I'm going to put -10 as my interest rate. And why am I doing that? Because cars depreciate. A lot of our tangible things that we get, cars, motorcycles, TVs, computers, furniture, we'd like to think that we could sell them later, and we could, but we will never get back the amount of money that we paid for them. They are always going to lower in value. And now, if you have like a beautiful 1940s vintage mint car, that is probably going to increase in value because that is like a collectible item and that's wonderful. But I can promise you my, 2014 Dodge Caravan in the driveway right now is not increasing in value. So yes, it's an asset. I could sell it right now, but I'm going to put my interest rate at -10, knowing that it is going to depreciate as time goes on. So I will leave that there. That part is done. Next, we're going to go over to the liabilities. Now, the liabilities are what you are owing, right? The level of debt related to what you've got, right? Now, this one, credit cards, line of credits, HELOC, so home equity line of credit, anything that you have that is a debt in this sense. Almost all of us have them. Having some level of a loan or debt in Canada is very common. We have a whole webinar on credit and loans and whatnot if you need more help with that. But the point is, nothing wrong with it as long as you are managing it properly, and using this net worth tracker is actually really going to help you become more and more aware of what you are doing there. So let's say I have, I don't know, I'll throw in $1,000 here in my balance, and my annual interest rate's 19.99, and my credit limit is 5,000. I definitely recommend putting in your credit limit. There's a reason for that in a second. Student car and other loans. So let's say, actually, I'm just going to leave that blank for now. And mortgages, let's say my home. And this is where you will actually put the value of your current home. So let's say I am still got $325,000 left to pay. And then like your interest rate on your mortgage, right? That's also helpful. So next, what you want to do is go up here. Now, I just did that very quickly. I didn't have to log into any accounts. What I recommend as an awesome tip is the first time you do this. Now, I said it was easy, but it is still going to take you some time. The first time you do this, it could take you half an hour to an hour because you're finding all your login details and which website do we go to, and oh, I forgot my password, and oh, I have to download a PDF to find this information, etc. First time it's going to take you a while. Okay. But what you're also going to want to do is bookmark all of the links to your financial institutions. So one, checking in on your finances regularly will be much easier. And two, when you have to check in on this form again, because we recommend checking in at least once a month, sometimes more, sometimes people do it every quarter, but once a month is kind of the sweet spot. You'll already have all those links ready to go. So updating this, take no time at all. Now, you have the net worth, it's done. You take a look here. My net worth is currently $184,000. Sounds really impressive, but like clearly based on the numbers, I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but like that feels like a solid number to start off with. I am having a $6,500 net passive income. That's good because we want our passive income to be increasing as we go, right? We want our income to increase and our liabilities to decrease. So that's a good start. And credit utilization here is 20%. Now, why is that number important? Well, credit utilization is one of the magical numbers out of many magical numbers that creditors and credit unions use to calculate your credit score. And if you have a good credit score, you're much more likely to be able to have access to other loans. So let's say if you wanted to get a rental property and you wanted to, like, get another mortgage, you will have a much better chance of getting that mortgage, and you may get lower interest rates if your credit score is low. So credit score is high. So we want your credit utilization to be low, because essentially what this means is you're only currently using 20% of the full credit you have access to. This indicates to creditors and loaners that you are responsible with your credit, because you could be maxing out all of your credit. That shows them that you may be struggling, that you have to use all the credit you have to be able to, function on a monthly basis. So yeah, having it lower, this is a good thing. Actually, another quick tool about this. So sometimes people ask us, if I get asked to increase my credit limit, like, should I increase this? Is a good thing? And the answer is maybe. It's a resounding maybe. And the reason for that is if you are able to pay off your balance in full on time each month, then increasing your credit limit could be a cool tool. Because let's see here, I increase this credit limit to 10,000. My credit utilization has gone down to 10%. So this could positively affect my credit score. So access to more credit, my credit score has lowered, which is showing other, providers that I am a responsible person with my credit. So if you always max out your cards and you're struggling to pay every month, increasing your credit limit may not be a great idea, because you're just potentially going to be tempted to spend more money and max out that new amount. But if you are able to be relatively, responsible with it, increasing the credit limit could lower your credit utilization and generally be a positive effect on your credit score. So you've done all that. It's taken you a half hour, an hour the first time. You're then going to click on log net worth on this second tab. And then that's it. You're done. That was it. It's easy, simple. And then you have this like pretty little graph. Now, I am a very visual person, so I absolutely love seeing, concrete explanation of what I'm doing, because I see here my net worth is 184, my passive expenses are 13,000, my passive income is 19,000. Okay, great. We want that income to be higher and those passive expenses to be lower. Delightful. Here's where the magic really, really happens, though. The following month, you're going to come back in here and you are going to change the date. So let's say we're in the future. Natalie in the future has decided to update her tracker, because I do it once a month. And then I'm just going to click through all those links that I already have bookmarked, and I'm just going to update things. You don't necessarily even need to update everything every single time if you don't have, the time to. Ideally, you should. But like, let's say this time I'm really focusing on my balances. So my checking is actually 1,500 right now. I put in an extra 1,000 in my RRSP. My home hasn't changed value, but I know my car has lost some value. So I'm going to put that at 4,000. And then over here in my liabilities, let's say I paid off my Visa, so I actually don't have a balance on it currently. And my home, yes, I did pay off some of my mortgage. So there you go. So I'm just for fun going to look up here. My credit utilization is 0 right now. That's relatively rare for Canadians, but fun nonetheless for this exercise. I'm going to come over to this historical net worth and I'm going to click on log net worth. And now I see my net worth has gone up from 184 to 188 in a month. My passive expenses have decreased and my passive income has increased. And then you can use this notes section if you're noticing any sort of major changes, and you can explain why that is the case, right? And the more you do this, the prettier this graph is going to get. Now, sometimes things may go up and down, but overall, being more aware of where you are right now means that anytime you make a financial decision, you're going to have these numbers in mind, and you're going to be motivated to increase your net worth by spending less and earning more passive income. So this is an amazing tool. I highly recommend you log in and download it as soon as you can, because it can be very, very helpful.
Natalie,
Okay,
there was a couple of questions in the chat
certainly, go right ahead.
in regards to how to access the tools, which you might be able to answer better than me, because for signing,
Yes.
they're talking about access codes and such.
Yes, so you do not need an access code. There will be a QR code at the end of the session, which will give you a link to a form. So when you fill out the form, because we need to confirm, if you're actually a CAF member and all this fun stuff, you will then get an email with login details to the website directly. So yeah, you can't just unfortunately log in right away. And there's no charge. It is absolutely free. But yes, you can't just log in right now. We'll need your information first by using that form. And then within generally business day or two, you get the email back with your login details. So let's jump back into my presentation. So, now that you kind of have a sense of where you are better able to make decisions moving forward. So we're going to talk about the savings challenge. Now, how does $1,830 sound to you? Sounds good to me. I like that number. I mean, I like any number that means that I can, have a short-term goal for something I want. And I mean short-term goal because this savings challenge is only 60 days long. So it is only 2 months long. And doing something short like this can really be then the catalyst for doing something more long term. But don't be like, I'm going to save for my retirement. Like, if it's too intimidating for you right now, that's fine. Just try this savings challenge. And then 60 days from now, see what you want to do. But $1,830. What could that get you, right? Could that get you a little weekend away? Could that be an important, contribution to a down payment on a home? Could that pay for your holiday gifts, right? There's all kinds of wonderful things you could do with this. So here's the basics of the challenge. You need 60 envelopes and a Sharpie. Now, we say a Sharpie mostly just because we find a Sharpie satisfying to write with, but crayons, pencils, whatever you got, get the kids involved, use the washable markers, whatever you need to. But essentially, what you're going to do is number 60 envelopes from 1 to 60, like so, and you're going to put them in a little box. And then each day, on that day, you will put the dollar amount into the envelope. So on day 1, you put $1. On day 2, you put $2. On day 3, you guessed it, $3. And then you keep doing that for 60 days. Okay. And I'm sure some of you are wondering, okay, fine, that's like an easy, way of going about it. Sure, you know, whatever. But then, like, how am I actually finding this money to put into the envelopes, right? There are different ways you can go about this, right? The concept of saving, if you haven't really had a chance to really get into it yet, can feel a little overwhelming. So, what I'm going to talk to you about next is a budget. And the budget is the best way to make this work, honestly. It is the best way to figure out how you are going to save things. And I'm going to share with you right now a tool that you already do have access to, but will definitely have access to when you log into the Enriched Academy portal, and that is the SISIP financial budget. This Excel document is created very specifically with CAF members in mind, right? So you'll see all these very specific line items that are clearly related to you as a CAF member. So this is an excellent tool to use. And if you've never done a budget, other than the net worth tracker, the budget is the second tool you definitely should be doing, because you want to set goals for yourself so that you are able to maximize your spending and ideally also maximize your savings. Now, we always recommend using cash for this activity because it's tangible, right? And I'll show you other ways you can use cash in a second. But what I've done is I've taken the SISA budget, I've just highlighted a couple of key sections because I wanted to discuss some different options of how you can use this budget to save for this challenge. And the first one is decluttering, right? We're getting close to the holiday season. Let's face it, if you have kids, they also probably have an explosion of different toys, and they're gonna get more come the holidays, right? It is always a good idea multiple times a year to look at decluttering your home anyway, right? So what we do as a family is we take go through every room and create a pile of things that we want to donate, because there's certainly lots of people in our community that could use some extra resources, clothing, things like that. But then also, my kids will sometimes sell, like, or via me through Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji, some of their books, some of their toys for like a really, really low price, like, $1 to $5 per toy. I can promise you, particularly with the holiday season coming up, lots of people of all, statuses and financial means are looking to places like Kijiji and Facebook Marketplace to buy, gently used, reasonably priced gifts. It's happening everywhere right now, right? Especially, this is the ideal time to do the savings challenge. So if you can declutter and, list a few things on the Facebook Marketplace and get a bit of extra income, like $5, $10, $20, we're not talking thousands here in this case, but this could go directly to your envelopes. And for those envelopes, you don't have to do them in order if you don't want to. Like, it's we have rules, but like, you can break them a little bit, right? So it's like, if you don't want to do day 1, day 2, day 3, that's fine. Let's say you sell something on Marketplace for $20, take that $20 cash, put it in day 20 immediately. Then that's already there. It's already good to go. All right, so you can fill in those envelopes in whichever order you wish, as long as by the end of the 60 days, you have filled out each one of those envelopes with the amount that's on the envelope. So decluttering, great, great way of getting just a little bit of extra income for not a ton of effort. Fuel, gas, expensive everywhere in the world, very expensive in Canada. What we've noticed is that if you are going to gas stations generally after 7 p.m. at night, that's some of the lowest price times, okay? If you are trying to gas up between Friday and Monday, pretty much any of those times, it's the most expensive, right? So it just involves a little bit of pre-planning. So let's say normally you spend about $100 a week. Well, potentially by choosing to schedule when you're getting gas at a different time, you could save 5, 10, $15, or even if it's $2, $3, that's your day 2 or day 3 envelope done, right? So try to plan when you get gas to really work with the, natural flow of pricing, which they're doing to make more money, right? So with a little bit pre-planning, it really helps. Next is food. Oh my goodness. So I've highlighted a lot of things in food, as you can see, because, okay, food, like budgets or like costs of food is definitely going up because of the economy and because of all kinds of other reasons. We know that. But a lot of us get challenged by the fact that, like, we have to do some pre-planning, oh, I forgot to bring a lunch. Oh, but Starbucks is so good and I need to have it every day. I'm not saying you don't have to, you can't do these things. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But like, for example, with my kids and I, one of my middle child loves to eat at the cafeteria. They use their allowance for that. So I say to them, okay, well, how many times do you eat at the cafeteria? And they're like, well, 3. I was like, okay, well, if you only go twice and I'll only go to Starbucks 3 times this week instead of 5, we'll put the money we saved in the envelopes. And if you succeed, I'll let you pick the movie on movie night. Something simple like that, some sort of like little, competition. Couples can do it and like, bet like foot rubs for the person that saved the most of their money at the end of the week, right? There's ways of even gamifying and making it fun among your family. But food is really one of those things that if you can pre-plan even just a little bit, it can make a big difference in your spending. There's also a great app, and I'm forgetting the name of it now, and I don't know if Jess is online and can tell me. That's the Gas Buddy app. That is and the Super Cook. Thank you, Jess. That is the one I was thinking about. Check under the couch cushion. That was another thing. My junk drawer. I don't know if you guys have a junk drawer in your like kitchen or one of your like. There was a ton of spare change in there that I didn't even realize. 2, 3 envelopes done, ready to go. Right. It's really great. But Supercook was a great little app because you can use it to put in the ingredients you have available, and then it will give you recipes for things you can make with what you've got, right? So then you're less tempted to like go to the grocery store 5 times a week to get something for each meal, right? Definitely a great idea. Okay, yeah, I'm seeing I can't find it on the website. Yes, You won't be able to find the course directly on the website. You'll get the login details once we get information from you on using the form, which I'll share with you at the end. So yeah, like yes, all recipes. Thank you. Yes, I use all recipes as well. It also has that. All recipes and Supercook also both have a thing where you can like say what you don't want. So if you're like, I do have these things, but I don't like these ingredients, it'll also help you populate that. Great way of saving a bit of money there. So again, map out your budget for it and then see if you can save that week. I know one of our trainer, Jess, her and her partner use cash for their groceries, right? So both of them set aside an amount of cash, and when the cash is gone, it's gone, right? So it really forces you to plan things accordingly. Next one I'm going to talk to you about. Scroll up, Natalie. There we go. Okay. Now, I have family travel and outings as two separate things. Now, family travel, you can use that more as like a proper full trip, but I highlighted it because during the holiday season in particular, there are a lot of activities that we are, encouraged and tempted to do that may cost money. So I know last year in because I live in Ottawa, last year there was like a big like Christmas lights exhibit that came into one of our conference centers, and it was like $60 a person. It was delightful. We had a fabulous time, but it was expensive. Going to see Santa at the mall, you may be tempted to pay for the photo package. There are all kinds of stuff like that during the holidays. So what I recommend is making a list of those things you would normally do, see how much they cost, and then try to substitute one or two. I'm not even saying all of them. Like if some of those things are tradition and you love them, then that's important and you should keep that. But if you can substitute one or two for something that is free, and believe me, there are a lot of free activities right now during the holidays for families in particular, do it. Especially in Ottawa, there's actually at least one, if not two, that I'm thinking about neighborhoods that have like just like an annual competition to see which house can be the most extra with regards to holiday lights. And people literally all over the city will drive to this small neighborhood just to drive through for free looking at the different lights. They also use it, I think, as an opportunity to gather donations for food banks and things like that. But like that's a free activity. You just have to like drive to that neighborhood, right? And it's a community activity. And anyway, all that to say, check your budget, see what you normally spend, and then swap one or two of those activities for something that could be free. Then take that money that you saved and put it in one of your envelopes. It's another day or two of your spending done. Outings. So in my budget, this is called miscellaneous, which is a vague. I appreciate that, but a lot of us have this like random money that we have that is just like our fun money, our spending money. Our trainer Jess and her partner call it their squishy because it can mold into whatever is necessary at any time, and there's nothing wrong with having that. But what can really help is if you do have that outing money in cash, once a week, you have it there with you, just like that network tracker where every time you're looking at it, the numbers sink in and make you more aware of everything else you do. Every time you have to pay in cash for something, it makes you much more aware of you spending it. It's so easy these days to tap a card and it's done. We don't even recognize how much money we're spending. But if you're really using that money and consciously spending it that way, it makes you more aware of what you're spending, and ideally you can spend less. So, make a deal with your partner, be like, we each have X amount of cash a week on our squishy fund, on our outings, and like the person who spends the least owes a foot rub to the other one, or the person who spends the least is responsible for cooking breakfast the next day, or whatever little like competition you can do. But like you can make, contests and challenges within this saving challenge, right? But the point is, try to find ways of reducing your spending even by just a little bit. Even just these small amounts are going to have a huge impact because at the end of those 60 days, you will have saved almost $1,900. And that'll be very motivating for you moving forward. So, yeah, love this tool. The budget tool is great. There are all kinds of other ways that you can save for sure, but that was just a quick overview of the different things that you could do. We are getting near the end of the presentation, so let me just show you the presentation again, and I'm going to bring up my question box. So as I just get to the end of the presentation, here is a link to the contest challenge form, right? We want you to register. So because you've registered, we will also, have certain like prizes for gift cards and things like that. So not only are you like getting a great habit, saving money for yourself, but you might also win an extra prize as well. So scan that QR code, register for the challenge, encourage other people in your, communities and office to sign up for the challenge, make it a little competition among you guys to really kind of like kickstart your holidays and start saving for, well, really whatever it is that you want, right? Now, this form is bilingual. You have access to it in both languages. And it's the Canex gift card that we're giving away. Oh, that's awesome. And let's see. Yes, let's also put a link. Jess, if you're available, can you put a link through the chat? But if I don't see a link in a second, I will add it myself. So yeah, register for the challenge. I think it's gonna be fun. It'll be a great idea. Let me see if Heather's not, if Jess. Oh, I have it right here. Haha. Jess is doing lots of things right now. So boom, the link is also in the chat. There we go. So you have access to it through the QR code and through the chat. And here I'm going to pin this link so that it doesn't go anywhere. The form link, I don't believe is going to be emailed out to everyone, but you will also get the recording of this webinar. So you'll have access to the QR code when you get the recording. But the link is also available right now in the chat box for you to have access to it. And last, but certainly not least, more QR codes for you. So here are the 2 QR codes that you would need for being able to access more course material and more support relating to your finances. Now, what we have on the left is the form to register for Enriched Academy's courses. Now, I'm also going to put my email in the chat box, enrichedsupport@enrichedacademy.com. So for whatever reason, the QR code isn't working for you, and you're like, I don't know, I really need access to your course material and to that tool, did she? Yes. There we, awesome. Jess also put the sign-up form right in there. Fabulous. Okay, so the course sign-up form is available. It is linked right there for you in the chat. So you have the registration for the challenge. You also have the sign-up form to get access to the courses. Now, on the right-hand side, that QR code is the code to be able to contact SISIP directly. You want information about insurance, about debt management, about budgeting, about pretty much anything financial under the sun. That is the place to go. So reach out to SISIP if you need any assistance. They're there to help for sure. So I know this is a lot of like links and emails and information, but essentially, here's what we want you to do. Sign up for the challenge, log into your Enriched Academy portal if you haven't already, and contact SISIP for anything you would possibly need with regards to financial help. Now, I will look at the question box to see if anything has popped up or if there's anything in the chat. Okay. Martin, I do see that there is a question here with regards to SISIP. If we're not comfortable working with our current financial advisor, is the way we can request a change? If so, how do we request that? Is the question asked.
It's a very good question. No, absolutely, you can. There's a couple of different ways to do that. I mean, if you don't have an active open, kind of depends on the different scenarios, but you can definitely request for someone new. You can just call the general office, or if you're working with an insurance representative or with a financial counselor, you can reach out to them and just basically let them know, and we can make sure that you get contacted and work with someone else. So, but you can actually absolutely request someone else if you're just not comfortable with them. That happens, personality conflict or things like that. It's normal.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely something we've heard of before. So where can we download the net worth tracker? Yes, so that is in the Enriched Academy portal. It's one of many tools you have access to. So when you get the login information for your portal, you'll scroll down to the essential tools section and you'll have access to calculators, access to tools, and they're all are downloadable things that you are available to download. Will this help with budgeting? Well, I hope this helped with budgeting a little bit. So yes, you do have access to the budget form, and there is discussion of budgeting in the Enriched Academy course as well. So you hopefully will get more information from those resources. And we also have, oh, yes, thank you, Jess/Heather put a link to working with the SISIP advisor directly. Does SISIP provide travel insurance, Martin? Is a question.
I'm actually typing the response as we speak. So the short answer
Sorry
is
about that.
no, SISIP doesn't provide traveling insurance, but we do have partners through CF1 and such that do offer the product. So if you're not sure, you can certainly contact us and we'll get you in touch with the right places. But SISIP itself does not.
Fabulous. Okay, good to know. Yes, I'm just noticing, okay, so D1 can be challenging with regards to links and stuff like that. So if you have any issues with regards to that, you can also email me at support@enrichedacademy.com and I'll see what I can do. There's an interesting question here. If two debts currently have the exact same interest rate, but one is variable, which do you suggest paying first? Okay, so this is an interesting question, Martha. I don't know if you have a specific answer to this, but we do have a tool in the portal that allows you to input your different types, your different debts, and then be able to play with the numbers to see which is the easiest. But generally, there's two schools of thought. You either see, with regards to interest rates, though, that is interesting. Martin, how do you feel about this? Because generally speaking, right now, the variable rates are challenging because things are changing a lot. So would it not potentially make more sense to pay down the one that is variable first if they're both the same interest rate?
I mean, truly the answer at this point is it kind of depends on the outlook of interest rates. So right now, Bank of Canada is saying that we're not expecting any more increases, so the variable rate shouldn't change. If anything, they're hoping for 2024 to have a reduction in rate, but we need to wait to see if that's going to happen. So based on that information, I'd actually go the opposite. The hope is rates are going to go down, but the key is to keep an eye on it, because yes, if rate goes up, then at that point you need to switch. So it's a difficult one to answer because we're dealing with things that we don't know what's going to happen. If you're conservative, I would say work the variable rate first in case rates do go up again. If we follow financial predictions, they are saying 2024 they should come down a little bit. So again, it comes down to your comfort level. Financially, right now, today, if they're the same rate, makes no difference. So you attacked, I would say the one with the lowest balance to get it paid off quicker and out of the way. But that would be the answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just generally speaking, there's kind of two schools of thought about any debt in that sense, right? You can either pay off the highest interest rate debt first or the debt that has the smallest balance, right? So in this case, if they're both the same interest rate and you're not too sure, then yeah, attacking the one with the lowest balance is probably, you know, in the idea that if there's also something in the satisfaction and mentality of getting rid of one of those things, right? So if you can pay it off and then it's out of sight, out of mind because it no longer exists, that can also be very healthy from a financial, mental health point of view as well.
It's what I like to call the quick hit. So, okay, it's a small balance. It's not, the highest interest rate, but when we pay something off, it feels good. It's encouraging. So let's get this one out of the way and then go back to working the high interest rate ones. Absolutely.
Currently, neither QR code nor link from the form works at my end. So yeah, that could be a D1 situation. So I will note that. What we often recommend when it comes to stuff like that is to email the link to your personal computer or something like that, right? So that may be helpful, trying it from your phone or trying it from, your own computer at home. Sometimes, depending on where you are located and the certain D1 settings, you can work. The link for the sign up doesn't work at home either. Interesting. Okay, let me double check here. Hmm. Interesting. If you are, I'm going to post it again in the chat. I mean, I'm not quite sure why it's not functioning, which is, um, yes, it might have something to do with our 365 accounts. Yes. Okay. So yeah, sometimes that may be the challenge there. Worst case scenario, support@enrichedacademy.com. That's how you reach me directly. I'll be on the computer today and tomorrow. Can you get rid of that box, please? Interesting. Interesting. Let me double check here. Using internet speaker pressure plugin. I'm not sure how to get rid of that particular box. It's a good question. Yes. So yeah, like I said, worst case scenario. Email support@enrichedacademy.com. That comes to me. I will get you anything you need related to today's presentation. If there aren't any other questions, I think that we're going to wrap it up. Now, we have one more presentation, I believe, in a week or two. I think it's next week, related to helping your kids be more money smart. So, working with your kids, with your family, and helping them understand some of the basic steps towards, having good financial decisions. So, that's what we're going to be doing next. If you can't join us, remember, you can register to get the recording, but then if you really can't join us and I don't see you again and we don't have a chance to chat before then, we wish you and your family the best of the holiday season. I hope everyone stays happy and healthy. And thank you again for everything that you do for all of us here in Canada. It is greatly appreciated. And I hope you have a fabulous day. So thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Merci, Martin.